let me text Scott. Oh, so we're live and welcome to the Zodiac Lounge. I can never introduce this show without cracking up, and that's good enough for me. Consider us your friendly neighborhood speakeasy where you can take your mask off, both literally and figuratively, and say anything you want and do anything you want. And the only thing that's going to get you kicked out is if you're rude to any of the other viewers or my guest or me, because then the full wrath of Anthony will come down upon you like all hell, and you will never get over it. But I'm here. I'm very excited to be here. Wait, I still have people coming in. I'm doing all this stuff myself. I'm as bad at running a Zoom session as I am driving, and that's like pretty bad. So here we are. I see my darling little Kelly just came on. And Scott was. Oh my God, we're filling up. I love this. So, um, why is the recording paused? All right, resume. So, welcome to everyone tonight. I'm going to be starting this over and over and over again until I get it right, and I'm probably going to stop that soon. One thing I would like to ask everybody is if your mic is not muted when you come on, please mute your mic. I have an amazing guest today, and we'll get to talking about that in a few minutes, but just a couple of ground rules. Because this crowd is getting a little larger, and because we're going to be doing a demo later, um, please use the raise hand function on your Zoom screen. I'm on a desktop, so I would have to click on reactions, and then it says raise hand. So, okay, another person at the door. I love this. And we're going to start. We're talking about our topic tonight is mediumship, and this is already not going the way I wanted it to because I'm nervous and I'm always really nervous. And we're admitting Keisha, who's a darling and has been a guest. She's also a medium, so she's going to have a lot to say. But we're going to be discussing mediumship, what it is, what it isn't, why we should take advantage of it. And I'll kind of give you my own take. A lot of people don't believe in what we do, and I do for a very good reason. And that is that in the mid 90s, I was resuscitated. And I did die and come back. And I did have several experiences in that area, in that space between bailing out and coming back in. And it happened a few times that year. It was really a pain in the ass, and the commute is a nightmare. Um, but there is consciousness. There is definitely consciousness after physical death. I'm getting pretty good at this admitting. Uh, so, I did put the internet was brand new after that happened to me. And I put an internet search out for anybody who had been resuscitated after flatlining machines. And I got, oh God, more people than you can imagine. But when I started asking for documentation on their flatline, then suddenly it dwindled down to just over 1,000 people. And that is, what really changed the game, because we all had similar experiences. They weren't identical. We were all with a companion, but everybody's companion was different. Some of them were with deceased loved ones. I was with some woman in a robe. She was very cool. She was very tough. She had a knife and a torch, and she was like awesome. Um, but life recall, we do have a life recall. And when that happens, and we all had this happen universally, you're going to remember something that you said or did during your time on Earth. And you're going to see it the way you saw it while it was happening. You're going to hear your voice coming out of your mouth just the way you do when you speak to somebody now, but you're going to feel what your words or gestures or attitude um, made somebody else feel. And then you're going to feel remorse or not. Um, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because it's the reason, the best reason that I think people should contact a medium, and a good one. Um, and that's because, the way we feel remorse if somebody that we love passes, we always have that moment where, gee, I wish I would have told them that I loved them more often, or I wish I would have done this or done that, or said this or said that. And this is what's interesting. The deceased feel that too. When they're gone, they think, oh my God, I wish I told them how much I love them before I left. So the reason is that we all have remorse, dead or alive. We all experience that. It's universal. And until you ask for forgiveness and then ultimately forgive yourself, you can't move on your journey. People who have passed before us cannot move on their journey in the afterlife until they have forgiven themselves for every wrong that they feel that they've done and have experienced true remorse for what they're sorry for. Just the same way that people that are grieving can't move on until they ultimately forgive themselves. And I'll share a short personal story. I lost a life partner of 30 years in May of last year. The last 8 years of his life, he suffered from progressive dementia. And as as his diagnosis was continuing to become more and more acute, my responsibilities grew more and more. And I didn't have a problem with that, but I still thought you could have done more. And then about 3 months after his passing, I thought, no, you couldn't. You did everything. You gave about 15 minutes a day of attention to yourself. And you did every single thing you could to keep him safe, to keep him comfortable. You couldn't possibly have done more. So that kind of remorse is I think, universal and very natural. We always wish we did something better, but the deceased do too. So you do have to find a good medium, a legitimate medium. I would recommend any of us from the Lisa Williams School. And I'll get into that in a minute because that's how I met tonight's guest. So it is connecting with loved ones who have passed. It is to help them heal because they need to heal too, as well as we do. When you die, trust me, because I've been dead a few times, you don't turn into some like amazingly sentient being who's all healed and all cool and all wise. You still have to divest yourself of your human experience that you had while you were trapped in this body and every connection you made while you walk the earth before you can exist purely in spirit. So it requires a lot of work, and I love helping them out. Um, my process when I work, and I'm bringing this up because we're going to get everybody's process, and because all of you are welcome to come on camera if you like. If you have questions, um, please use the raise hand feature. If you have questions at any of these subtopics that I'm going to be discussing with Burnett, or if you don't want to come on camera and have a question for us to answer during the first part of the show, put it there. I will keep an eye on. This is me looking at chat. It looks like I'm distracted or something. I'm not. I'm just trying to keep an eye on the room and make sure that everybody gets the attention that they ask for. So when I sit as a medium, it's like remembering part of a movie that I never saw. I'll get a scenario, I'll see somebody's face, and I'll have this like 10-hour backstory that just automatically comes to me intuitively. And that's what I have to share um, with the person I'm sitting for. But I don't want to. I don't want to hog this whole show. I want to bring on my fabulous guest, Burnett Sherman, and I'm just moving her right here under my camera so I can see her and I can see me. And take it away. Hi,
Hey,
Burnett.
Anthony.
Hey,
Hello,
sweetie.
everyone. Good evening. Happy Monday. Hope everyone is doing well. Everyone's doing well. Like I said, I am Burnett Sherman, and I did meet Anthony in the Lisa Williams class for mediumship. And there's a couple other people in here, I believe, who are taking the course with us. And so this is a
Mm.
lot of fun. We had a great weekend doing some work, and we have some, we're doing continued work on it, specifically in platform mediumship. and
Hmm.
online platform mediumship, which of course everything exploded and changed over this past year. And when you used to stand in front of a group in person, it's a whole different thing when you're staring at little boxes on
Hmm.
your screen. And I'm sure if you guys have been working from home the past year, you know what I mean. So just
Hmm.
imagine trying to pick a spirit out for people in a box, right?
Yeah.
So so we are working together to learn how to do platform mediumship
Yeah,
effectively.
to hone our skills. It's very, very different. We were discussing this before all of you started coming in. And I was saying that, when you're working with somebody one on one, you're focused on them, you're staring, you're 150% focused on them. And then you start seeing the people that they loved coming around them. But when you're doing platform work, we can't look at the audience. We have to just, I mean, my deceased people come in um, on my right. So I have to pay attention to the dead people over here, the live people over here, the clock, because we don't want to lag. I mean, Burnett, did you have the experience like when you're doing a reading, you think that you're just speaking seamlessly without a break, and then when you watch your replay, it's like, why? What is that big empty
The
space?
pauses where you're
Yeah,
listening, right? You're listening, but
yeah,
everyone else sees you just going like this,
yeah. So
right?
part of the art of doing platform work is to keep a running monologue where instead of like seeing this person looking at me, I have to say, I see them. This is, just start describing them, but also keep my ear. It's like juggling 10 balls, and then some mother is going to throw two more in just to piss you off and make sure that,
Just to
that
keep you
you,
on your toes.
yeah.
Keep us on
And
our
it's
toes.
like, I'm old now. I get cranky. So,
Funny,
Burnett,
Anthony.
tell us a little bit about yourself. When did you first recognize that you had the ability to intuit, to intuit information? Because you do a lot of
That
things, and we're going to talk about that.
yeah, it's interesting because when I was young, I had some experiences that
Mhm.
scared me, and I recognized later that I was seeing things that other people weren't seeing, and like I would run to my mom's bedroom like every night. Like
Mhm.
maybe that's how I learned the long jump. I would jump from my bed to the door and, and all tail to her bedroom, right? So I was seeing things, and it was enough that I decided at that young age to turn it off. I didn't
Mhm.
know that's what I was doing. I just knew I didn't want that anymore. And
Okay.
and I turned that off. But I always had, I think, a channel connection.
Mhm.
I look back at some of my writing from being a teenager. I'm like, why would a teenager write this kind of stuff? Like who? But like it was just different. So I realized I was
Mhm.
doing channeling through my writing, and I didn't
Oh, wow.
realize it before I knew what channeling was. Right?
Uh,
It was when I was a woman of about 30. I was in upstate New York, well, Western New York. My mom was on the board of Plymouth Spiritualist Church in Rochester,
okay.
and I attended. And I'm in the audience, sitting there, and the lady who's on platform, she points to me, and she says, "May I come to you?" And I assume she's talking to someone else because she's like, "Can I come to you?" And I'm like, "Okay." She says, "You're a clairvoyant, a clairaudient, and a clairsentient." So I know now she must be talking to someone else.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. What was your reaction when she said that?
literally, I literally looked around, assuming she was talking to someone else. And she
I
says,
was like, yeah, the
"No."
hell I am.
She says, "No, I'm talking to you." And I'm like, "Okay." And you know how you're polite. We know we've
Yeah.
all gotten,
Well,
we're polite and
no,
we
but
nod. Okay. All right, thank you. And she said something else, some other things about my grandmother and my grandmother's
uh-huh.
experience. And so I received the message. The next morning, I'm spending the night. I'm sleeping at my brother's house. And next morning, I wake up and I can sense spirits around me. I sense a childhood friend, my grandmother, and like a couple other people.
Hmm.
And I was like, "Oh, okay." It literally was like a switch turned on when she said it.
Yeah.
it turned it back on. Now, first thing I did, I said, "You do not wake me up." I set a rule right there. Do not wake me up from my sleep.
Uh-huh.
That was that was the last time. So I was like, "Don't mess with my sleep."
Right.
But but that was how it switched on, literally,
Hmm.
where I was suddenly able to communicate. And the way I see is not like some people see physical things.
Hmm.
Mine is in my third eye.
Yeah. It's
Happy with
like
that.
remembering. It's like remembering something that you saw before, except you never saw it before. Is that
Never
right?
saw it,
Yeah.
or I it's almost conversational.
Hmm.
Where
I'm
they
glad you said that, only because there's a question in chat. Jacqueline Christina said, "Is it just continuing conversation from both sides?" And sometimes it is.
it can be depending on
Hmm.
how they left it, and how they left. Were things
Yeah.
unsaid? Was it sudden and unexpected, or was it expected? What was the relationship like before they passed? I
Yeah.
had a mother daughter. I have a um, she's now a friend 7 years later after giving her this reading.
Hmm.
But she came to me for a reading, and her mother and her aunt came through. And there was a lot of history and trauma, relationship trauma. And
Hmm.
through that session, it was healing, though, because they didn't have a chance to say so many things. And there was this release of fear. The friend had
Okay.
actually won an all expense paid trip to Italy, right?
Nice.
And she was afraid to go. She was afraid to take this trip, right? I'm like, who doesn't want a trip to Italy? Like, you literally win it, falls in your lap. But after the session and releasing the fear and having the conversation and closure with her mother and her aunt, she
Mm.
was able to accept the gift. Her
Okay.
family, her grandmother had escaped the Holocaust. So there was a lot of trauma, like just in her DNA. We know that trauma lodges in the DNA from generations. And so there had to be the release of that. And so you don't know what you're going to come up with and the kind of healing that can be possible when you're just able to connect souls,
Mhm.
living, unliving, you're able to connect souls.
Yeah. So pretty much it's like we're in the middle, getting information and able to relay it. Um, I've been
Yeah.
asked many times, what is what's it really like? Are there any movies that are true to form? And there's a part of the movie Ghost. I don't know if anybody remembers that, with Patrick Swayze and Whoopi Goldberg. And when Whoopi Goldberg, who is a fake, finally has a real experience, and Patrick Swayze comes through her, but she actually acts as a physical medium or a trance
Mhm.
medium where he comes through her. The next day she goes to work expecting to hustle all these people out of all their money, and then her office is like full of dead people, and she's like, and I've done that. I've had that. Like, what in gay hell is going on in here? Get out of my house. Because once they know that you can connect, they show up. Because imagine
Yeah.
being, a lot of people, a lot of our DCs don't know that the first thing I always ask them, do you know that you've passed? And some of them don't. So imagine you're in your life, and then the next day you think you get up in the morning, but you're actually not. And you're saying hi to people, and they're just totally dissing you, looking through
Ignoring
you,
you.
looking at their watch, talking on their phone. That's why they bang on walls. That's why they push you down the stairs. That's why they light shit on fire. It's because they're trying to make contact with you, to get attention with you. Now,
There's a
you and
there's a
I,
sorry,
go
there's
ahead.
a question series in here. Um, it says, also would like to know when my mom passed, she wanted to tell us something, but passed away before she was able to. And then someone else asked, did you ever share with your mom what you were experiencing? What was that? I don't know what that was. Did I share with my mom, or did the person share?
I think it was Mary P. and Jacqueline Christina. So if you would like, um, use the raise my hand thing so we can put you up there and get you on camera. Um, and okay, there's Jacqueline asked to
And then the other one
unmute.
was, what if there was no relationship, but there should have been? did they know about relationships they never knew existed after death? So they can know if they fully cross over. If they stay in this astral plane, if they stay in the astral plane or just above us in this third, they may not know because they're gone, but they only have the information that they left with. Unless you fully cross over, you're not going to have access to that other information. That's a good way to tell if a spirit has crossed over all the way.
Really? Okay.
If they, for example, my mother had an uncle who so my mom will be 70 next month, right? Next year.
Mom is my age. Yep.
Yes. So she was talking, we were talking to her uncle who had passed, and he asked about a sister. And my mom's thinking, don't you know? Because his sister had passed years ago, right? But because he hadn't fully crossed over, he was still at that point when he crossed. So that's a good way to assess if a spirit doesn't know higher information, doesn't know recent information.
Okay. Because, I had an interesting thing happen when I flatlined. I knew that there were a lot of other dead people around me. I was in a forest with this woman with a torch and a knife and snakes around her wrist and everything. And I knew that there were other dead people around me. And I said to her, do I know any of them? And she said, yes, some you do, some you don't. I said, well, why don't you tell me who they are? And she said, you have to make a decision. If you decide to stay, you will meet them. If you go back, which you do have the opportunity to do, then you will meet them when you come back here for good. So, of course, being a jackass, I said, well, what's in it for me if I go back? And she showed me all the work that I would be doing. And I had to make a promise to spend the rest of my life helping the very old, the very young, and the very ill. Because I had that capacity. And when I came back, I was working as a medium and a reader before that. I've been doing this since 1968. I had those experiences in 1994, but my abilities are different now. They're fuller. I can see more, I can hear more, and I'm more honed in on the message. Now, Burnett, you and I had a really interesting conversation in prep. The whole thing was interesting, but there was one key point. Do you remember when we were talking about, I remember what I said to you was, well, we only have that moment, because it had to do with trusting ourselves and the information that we get.
Yes. And it was your story about your incident last week, and then just having that moment that you don't have control over how people respond, how people receive.
Yeah.
All you can do is be present.
Right.
Say yes.
As a healer. As a
yes.
healer, we want to see everybody healed. So we'll give people advice and we'll hope that they'll take it. And sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. And I think it's natural if you're like a person who does want to heal people to kind of harp on them. Like, did you do that yet? Did you do that yet? And
that is hard. That is hard. Because you're like, all you had to do was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they're like, yeah.
Right. But Burnett and I then decided that the ability that we have, we only have that moment to tell them. And then we have to take our hands off. Because our job is a messenger. It's like a messenger with people who don't read this language. And then we have to interpret this document for them and then give them the information as accurately as we can. But we have no say whatsoever, because everybody has their own life journey. Everybody has their own life path. Now, Hazel has her hand up, and I'm going to ask her to unmute. Hazel, you with us?
Yes, I am. Something that Burnett said, all of my teachers that I've had since I began have taught that the spirits have no choice but to be in the afterlife, that they're not stuck, that they know what's going on in our lives every day. If they choose, they can come and go, but they're not stuck. And so I don't fully understand this about not being fully crossed over, because when you're gone, your spirit is gone. So
So
I'm-
that's a, like a whole other show.
Yeah.
But I will
Well,
say
I just-
this. So
I
this,
just- The reason
Sorry.
the reason why I had to say that is because I privately messaged another lady who asked a question, and I said that they are aware of what's going on in our lives because, well, that's how I was taught, that you have no choice. You're dead. You're gone. Your spirit is already in the afterlife. I
Mhm.
personally don't believe in stuck spirits, so
and I will say I'm not your normal metaphysical person, because I do believe, because as a spirit channel, as a channel of spirits, we have on our YouTube channel, Spirit Speaks channel, we have channeled stuck spirits and helped them fully cross over, because they don't know that they may not know that they're dead. They may not have accepted it, and they get stuck in an astral plane. We actually it's either coming up next week or last week, we just posted about the astral plane and what we channeled
Mhm.
on that. That's a whole nother thing. But I think it's a worthy conversation, Hazel, because there are different people have different understandings.
mhm.
And depending on like who you may have learned from and what their understanding was, and then what their experiences were. If you've only come across spirits who fully transitioned, or you didn't know that they didn't fully transition, then you might always think that they've always fully transitioned. But a good test is, do they really know what's happening presently? If they just passed a week ago, they probably do know. But if they've been gone 10 years and they're asking about things that they should have known about,
Mm.
because they supposedly can see all of that, that's a good test.
I
Well,
think it's
because-
also like tomato. Are they stuck, or are they there 100% but not ready to finish journeying in? Because I got it from very good sources, all of them deceased, who have given me very credible messages, very accurate evidence to their loved ones here on earth, that they have to divest of all of their ego functions, all of the ties that they had to the earth, to the living. That's what takes remorse, forgiveness of self, forgiveness of others. Um, so they might know that they're in spirit, but I mean, I was raised Roman Catholic, and I don't even want to get into how that can get sometimes, but they had something called limbo, which is a space that a deceased person exists in after death and before going to their ultimate reward. So if you look at it as a journey, let's take religion out of it, let's take all that stuff out of it. You're dead, you're 100% dead once you die. But in order to progress on your journey to exist purely in spirit without any human faculties left to you, you have to go through a process. And I think it might take some people longer than others. They can go back and forth, the ones who know that they're dead. I personally threw away my bucket list, and now I have a list of visitations and a list of hauntings. So if you were nice to me when I was alive, you're going to get a visitation, probably in your dreams, because I don't want to scare the hell out of you. But if you mess with me, I'm going to give you every kind of haunting. I'm going to like throw shit across the room. I'm going to set your house on fire. I'm going to blow up your car. I'm going to pull your wig off. I'm going to do anything that I want to do. So you're going to know that there is an afterlife, and Anthony Russell is there.
It was Anthony.
But I think that ultimately what happens is that the transition from being trapped in this human body to finally being liberated from it through death, which is like really one of the most beautiful experiences that I had, was going through those resuscitations. It's like this is your big moment on stage. The experience that I had was that I had too many ties. I had too many ties to the earth, and I had to divest myself. And I'm sorry, I just got distracted by trying to keep an eye on chat. And says, "You better haunt me, Bub." I will, Anna. I will haunt you for sure. I'll haunt you right now. Okay, I can do that. So this and that too is a whole other show, the death process, because you have lived your entire life for that moment of blowing out of here, and it's like every single one of your cells is exploding like fireworks, and it's the grand finale. It's like no longer a dress rehearsal. And this is it. This is your big night on stage. And we came in with a lot of vitality and a lot of excitement, and we have to go out the same way because this little visit, this little 80, and now I want like 150-year experience here on Earth because I'm too close to 80. Um, but this little experience that we have in this body is only the beginning. It's only one stage. So I take it from the dead people that I have known, who did say, yeah, there's a process that they have to go to. We have a hand up, Janet Roika. I'm getting real. Oh, wait a minute. What am I doing here? Um, Janet, I'm trying to bring you on, but I can't find the, wait. Ask to start video. Okay, wait a minute. What am I doing? Janet, can you hear me? Because you're up there. Can we hear you? Okay, your camera's off. Yes, your mic is on. So Janet Royka, please give us your question. Maybe not. Okay, so that's not happening.
I know there were a couple other hands up that got put down. Jacqueline had hers up.
Sam has her hand up. So let's see.
Sam
Ask to unmute. Hi, Sam. Can you unmute your camera, please? Because I somehow can't.
It looks like you're unmuted, but we can't hear you. Ah.
Oh, wait, let me unmute you. Ask to unmute. There we go. Okay. You there?
Can't hear
Sam,
you though.
Are you speaking?
She's trying.
Well, it says mute. Okay, now I'm asking to unmute again. I hate this. This is worse than driving. All right, so now we have nice dead air to go through.
You want to put your question in the chat, Sam?
Yeah, please do that.
Okay, and then we'll try to answer it for you.
Okay, and I'm going to ask Justin to unmute.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Hey, Justin.
No camera, Justin?
I'm on my phone, so I don't know how to turn it on.
I'm only playing.
There you go.
Oh, there you
go. So how is it going today?
Good.
Good. Good.
Good.
So
I was wondering about work. I've been looking for a new job and applying a lot for it. And I'm just curious if that'll be something that happens this year, or should I just bunker down with the position I'm in?
well, I guess we're going right into demo, but
Are we there yet?
No. Okay, Justin, I'm going to keep your hand raised, but Burnett is going to do a demo in a few minutes. We just have to finish talking about this, but I would love for her to answer your question when she is in that space. Janet Royka, can you, where is she? I'm going to find her now because I cannot find her. Janet, are you there? Do you know that your hand's up? Can you hear us? If you can speak, if we don't hear you, will you please post your question in chat? Oh, wait. Okay, so her camera's off. All right. I guess I'll just lower her hand. You can raise your hand again if you want to join us later. So Sam says to everyone, I am fascinated by spirits that haven't crossed over. Are there spirits that never cross over? What happens to them? What do you think, Burnett?
I was actually starting to answer that, but now that you've asked it out loud, I can try to answer it out loud. I was
Okay.
writing that people clearly have different experiences and beliefs, and I don't want to, trample on anyone's personal experience or beliefs. From what I have experienced through channeling of spirits, is that not all spirits fully cross over. When I say fully, let me explain myself. Fully go into the bright light and walk that path to continue their soul's journey, and to go through that recap and do the soul's journey, make a new life plan to fully cross over so that they can continue progress. Not all of them do that. And his other part was, what happens if they don't? Again, I haven't been to the other side physically, or, as a discarnate spirit that I remember, past lifetimes, I'm sure, but in this existence, I haven't. So I don't know 100%. What we have seen so far is some of them become spirit attachments, where they attach to living beings. Some wander.
And that's because of unresolved issues.
That can be due to unresolved issues, fear of going. Like, some people are just afraid to go into the light. They don't know. They don't trust it. They don't know what it is. They didn't believe in death to start with. So now that they're dead, it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, right. Then you just have to sort of own it. It's interesting because I have a spirit, and I have an office in New Jersey that I go to a few days a week to read. And there's a young girl in spirit. She was like around between 14 and 16 when she died. Her name is Rose, or something Rose, or Rose something. But when I asked her, do you know that you've passed? She's like, yeah. She said, but my life was so miserable when I was in this body that I need to hang out here until I'm good and done with it. And she is quite something. She is like on fire. She has scared people that were disrespectful to my work. She'll, my cousin Dom, who's in the audience, was there. If he wants to come on and attest to this, he may. I had her turning the lights on and off, but just by asking her, because he wasn't sure. He goes, I said, yeah, there's somebody here named Rose. I was like, Rose, flick the lights, and it didn't. Do it again. She did. Yeah. So sometimes I just want to hang out, and I would probably be like that for a while anyway. I would definitely be like that for a while. I see Keisha has her hand up.
There's a couple questions. Mary asked a question. I think when we get back to it, if you wouldn't mind, just when it's time to do the demonstration and the answer questions, just drop it back. You copy paste it, drop it back in so that we don't have to try to find it.
Okay. Also, my cousin was there. It says Rosie has pushed over the fan several times. So yeah, everybody knows her. Now, Keisha, I'm going to unmute you. And hey, sweetie, what's up? Keisha's a medium as well.
Hi, Keisha.
This is why this is exciting. I've not met another Black woman medium that calls herself a medium. And I don't know if you're comfortable with sharing your journey of coming out, as you could say, and in front of your community, because it's weird. I mean, the way I was raised, I'm from New Orleans originally, and everyone has a ghost in their house, but no one wants to say that they're a medium.
You know what? This is this is one of those things in the Black community. It's like, you just don't talk about it. Don't label it as such. And a lot of it is driven because of religion. And in the Bible,
I was going to ask you that. Yeah.
It's religiously based fear. And I didn't grow up in the traditional religion to start with. And now my mother, who happens to be on here, she did. She grew up in Holiness Pentecostal, right? Pentecostal holiness, which is a very, religious
Mhm.
upbringing. And so I grew up in a different way. And I was always a little different anyways, just because I grew up in a different religion and I moved around. I was a new kid several times. And I when I decided that I was going to actually admit to being a medium, it was after, I did Reiki, and I would call myself a spiritual healer, Reiki practitioner. I was like, that's acceptable. And then I can give some messages when they come through, and I don't have to call myself that. And then I would do readings and under an anonymous name on like online so that people didn't know who I was. Right. So you have that process. And then I came out as a spiritual messenger, medium. And then like I took it back and I was like, oh, I don't want to be judged.
Yeah.
And so it was like this tug of war.
Right.
Hmm.
Right.
But
That's so interesting because go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, but it's at some point, I don't think it matters what you call yourself.
Uh-huh.
I've settled on medium because it's a language that is understood and I think is necessary because there aren't very many of us that look like me, look like you.
Right. Right.
And people are searching, and Black people need healing as much or sometimes more because we have so much generational trauma and so much pain. And they're looking for someone who might understand that. And so if they're looking for Black medium and you never call yourself a medium,
Mm-hmm.
then you're denying them the opportunity to find you and get that healing.
To find healing. Yeah, good point. I had no idea. I mean, my reference is much earlier in the 1950s when I got dragged out of the broom closet. I came from the kind of family that, back then it's like if you said that you were crazy. So, I mean, I was kind of normal every other way, but I saw dead people. I was able to give predictive information to people, and it really rattled my folks when it came out. But they would always then ask me other things like, what do you think is going on with this? It's like, oh, I thought you didn't believe in this. But they did at one point bring me to a psychiatrist. And he was nuts. It wasn't me. I was not crazy. Okay, he was crazy because there was this, looking over the glasses. So tell me about these voices you hear. And I'm like, I don't hear them. I remember them. It's like remembering a conversation. And how does it make you feel? And then he goes, does it make you want to have sex with your mother? And I just like cracked up. It's like, my father won't even do that. What the hell is, what are you doing? I'm like 12. So, there was a stigma, but I had no idea. And thank you both, Keisha and Burnett. I mean, I had no idea that it was that
There's a reason why you don't see many brown faces.
Right. Right. And right now I'm calling myself a coach.
Oh yeah, I did that too.
Yeah.
And I still do. I call myself a spiritual coach, advisor, medium,
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I found that when people are looking for a coach, it's different than when someone's looking for what a medium does.
Right.
And when the cat was out the bag when my mom and I started Spirit Speaks channel. Like, not only was I'm a medium, I was a Black channel, like channeling spirits from the other side. And when we started that, it was like, okay, may as well call myself a medium. There's like, yeah.
Right.
There wasn't much else.
Wow. And your mom has abilities?
She is a healer, a very gifted healer. Okay. She does have, I think she has some intuitive abilities. And it's funny, the more she's been doing her healing work and work, she now channels messages related to healing, I would say. She channels information that enriches her offerings as a healer.
Cool.
Yeah.
You're giving me ideas. My mom's a healer too. And it's interesting that we're having this conversation because I just talked to a law school girlfriend of mine who I thought would be a good client first, a first client for me. And I'm realizing and me and my mom should talk to her.
Wow.
Yeah, my mom and I have done some work together where she's doing healing and I get extra information to help.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's almost
Yeah.
like having a tag team partner
Yeah.
or ride or die, ride or die, ride or die mom.
Yeah, my mom is amazing. She's down there.
We should, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
So I think it's important to, whatever you do, if it's safe. Now, I don't think in all places it may not be safe. If it puts your self at risk in some way, you might not be able to do it. Like I know if certain jobs I was holding, it was not okay for me to be out there calling myself a medium.
Yeah.
Well, I'm no longer.
There's stigma. There's a stigma that goes along with it, but then there's also an opportunity to have to own it. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to brag about it. I don't feel that I'm special. Actually, I feel humbled because I can do that. And the evidence that I present to the people that are sitting has helped them in many ways. There's a young lady here in our audience that came to me for a tarot reading, and her mom came through. And it was interesting because the evidence that I got, I'm making this these beautiful long fingers, and there was something about her hands that was very prevalent. And it turned out that there were phrases coming out of my mouth that I never use, but I'm just sort of prompted to say these things. But I just kept on seeing her hands, and there was a particular ring, and it turned out that that was the tell. That was definitely the tell that I had connected with someone that she was able to recognize. So, I could do this all night, but we're going to have to. Jenny Horn says you're talking about my mom. And yes, Jenny, I am, but I didn't want to mention your name in case you didn't want to be known. But that really totally did me so much good that particular day. Also, Samantha Burnett thinks you're gorgeous. So you're getting
Thank you,
compliments.
Thank you.
So we should probably, are you in the mood to do a little demo? You feeling it?
I am.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about your process. Do you do an affirmation before you usually do this, or
I do before I start, because we may forget, and if I get going, we might forget to do this. I'm going to drop my information in the chat so that you guys have it.
Oh yeah,
it's like a slew of information, so pick and choose, folks. Pick and choose.
Yeah, so anybody who would like to get a hold of Burnett for a reading or anything, and you can, oh my God. You weren't kidding.
What are you doing?
It's like, wow.
What are you doing?
Okay, so it's BurnettSherman.com, Facebook.com, I am Burnett Sherman, Instagram, I am Burnett.
A little later, okay? Huh? Oh no, I know.
Hello?
Okay.
Whose mic is on?
Oops, probably me.
I think Janet's.
Hi, Janet. Okay.
Hi,
Okay. So if you don't mind, that's okay. Let me do that. Okay. So we're there. So before many of us work, we usually just, it's not as easy as it might look when you see us on camera when we're actually working. It's nerve-wracking. We are a mess until we start. And the reason we're a mess is because we want to do a good job. We want to bring you information that is healing, that is pertinent, that is going to really put your mind at rest, make your heart happy about this. So we usually do a little sort of prayer. Bernadette and I just discovered that it's never the same one with us, but we always do it and it's out there. So it's really about asking whoever or whatever is in charge to help us work for the highest good and to give us information that is healing, valid, and recognizable, and that is going to help both the living and the past if it comes from that. Now, Burnett also does spiritual messaging. So there are sometimes she's going to get spirit with a message for somebody. There's sometimes she's going to have a discarnate spirit, someone who walked the earth that you knew while they were alive. Um, and then maybe your higher self or other guides. So the way this is going to work, Burnett is going to start giving evidence. She's going to start giving her impressions. And then anybody who thinks that it pertains to them, use the raise my hand feature. And then she will continue. And if you hear one thing that isn't consistent, take your hand down, because I did this once and I had 80 hands up. And then all of a sudden we got it down to 2, and then finally 1. So Burnett, let us know when you're ready, if you want to take a minute to quiet yourself, and I will shut my big mouth while you do this.
Before I do, if I get a spirit, a discarnate spirit, someone who's here to give a message in that way, that's when I will give the evidence and have someone own that spirit or claim that spirit, not own it. If it's a different kind of message, like just a general spiritual message, I will come straight to you if I can pick you out of this 33 faces. Otherwise, you can ask the question. I'm going to ask Anthony, if you wouldn't mind, if someone drops a question in there, because I will not be able to see that when I'm doing this. If you wouldn't mind letting me know that there is a question and what it is when it's time. That way I can come to that person with the question. I know at least 2 people had specific questions, and I will do my best to provide the guidance that I can. So I'm going to let myself get into a space, and I wouldn't mind if you all just lift your own energies up and help
regulate your breathing. Send all of your energy to Burnett to connect her.
I'm going to let myself stand up so I'm not constrained. Okay. All right. So the first person who comes in, he's a slender man. He's wearing blue jeans and a white shirt. It's, looks white, maybe cream. Short sleeves, button down. He's got brown hair, beard. Does anyone recognize this individual so far? Brown hair, bearded, slim face, slim build. And this is the way he walks. If I can. It's kind of a meandering, very thoughtful walk, like he was often in thought. He shows himself casting a net. If that means anything to someone, casting a net into the ocean, or I shouldn't say ocean, it's water. Casting a net into a body of water. And he holds up a big fish. If anyone recognizes this, do use the raise your hand feature on your device. Raise your hand feature. There's something about the eyes. Okay, yeah. Something about the eyes that they want me to draw attention to.
Darlene said something. She doesn't know how to raise her hand. Are books involved? or books? So is this person have anything to do with
Um,
books, reading?
let me ask. They're saying, they're giving me a sound that starts with J, the J or a soft G. Now, there may be a connection to Georgia or George. No, the only books he's just showing a stack of books. And then he pushes them away from him. Okay. I keep hearing YouTube, and I'm gonna just allow that. Because there are people who are watching on another platform.
Yeah, because it might be somebody in the YouTube audience.
Yes. Okay. I'm just going to receive the message, and if this resonates
Right.
with the person who is not in this room but in another room, they're saying I should have read the note, and this is going to make sense to the other person. I should have read the note, but I was in a hurry, and I was upset, and I'm usually very patient. But he said a lot had been going on. A lot had been going on, and I should have read the note. And he says, kiss the girl for me. Kiss the girl for me. I feel like this is going to make sense to the person who is supposed to receive this message.
Okay. I had
Yes, thank you. You can go in peace. And as I leave that message, the question came in after I'm done. I got Georgia. I don't know if it was Moultrie, Georgia. But if the message made sense for you, if the rest of the message made sense for you, I leave with you what made sense and allow you to take that and let it be a blessing to you. I'm going to invite in the next. All right, who do we have? Okay. This person, all right, how do I describe you? How do I describe? They just, oh my goodness. It feels like someone who's about 17 to 20 years old. And it's a looks like a male, and he's doing this weird dance, and it's like he says, "Do it." It's stupid. It's almost like a running dance, but it's like some kids who can't dance but really thinks that they really love to dance, and they're dancing anyway. He's like, I always had a lot of energy, and I was the life of the party because I made other people comfortable. He's got glasses on. It's a sandy brown hair that goes like this, goes across his forehead. Can you tell me anything else about yourself that can help? I'm getting, now when I get a name, it may have to do with the person in spirit, someone you all may know in this life, but I'm getting the name Richard or Rich, the word Rich or Richard. And he's saying there's a connection to school, or there was a connection to a school and a brother and a son. So this person was a brother and a son. He's saying, you know who I belong to. So one of you knows the person who he belongs to. So don't think this is a spirit directly for you, but a spirit for someone that you know. And if this person, if you recognize the spirit from this high energy, sandy brown, 17 to 20 years old, connection with school, brother, son, and the name or word Richard. Go ahead and raise your hand. Oh, it's okay. See, he said, why aren't they claiming me? And that's always hard because they're seeing you and they're seeing the other audience, and they know that they belong to someone. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the name to see if I can figure out who, but without faces. Half the people don't have faces.
Yeah.
Is there a message that you have? It says, do they recognize the name Renee?
Oh my God. I wonder if this is, he didn't have sandy brown hair. That's where I'm getting tripped up on, but I know someone named Renee who lost her brother young.
Was he between 17 and 20?
More like mid to late 20s, but young. He might have acted at that age.
He looks like, well, the way he's acting is like, is that age range. I don't know if you knew what he looked like. Did his hair come down like this?
No, but he's a Black Creole man from New Orleans. Shorter hair, but like the kind of hair that would have had waves.
That long enough to.
It could. It depends on the time period. He did have like his, the way the people cut their,
Okay.
That kind of thing.
Someone wants to know if you can ask how he passed.
He's saying he went too fast.
Oh my God.
He went too fast. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Okay. He got hit by a truck when he was riding a motorcycle. And it's interesting because he keeps showing up in my mediumship circles, but this is the first time someone's really read him for me.
Oh, he's saying he needs you to tell his mom that he came. And he says he was warned over and over and over about this. But he said, I was young and I thought I'd live forever. Just tell mom. He says, tell her, I'm sorry. I didn't listen, but I'm okay. He says, I'm okay. He says, the fact that I'm here coming through this medium, this woman right now, I'm okay. And she is okay. Does he have a brother?
He has two sisters. Oh gosh, there's a sibling he doesn't know about that he might know about now.
Yeah. He just wants to acknowledge.
He knows.
Yep, he knows.
Okay.
He says, and it's all okay. Actually, he said it's all good. That's the words he used.
Oh my God, what's that? Oh God. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Wow.
All right, I'm going to leave that with you. Thank you for letting me bring that message to you. Thank you for coming and trusting me. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. This woman comes here. She says, "Is it my turn?" And she's got blonde hair, and like she looks like she's about this tall. She's got on like slacks. So I want to say like a preppy. She's preppy. And it's like blonde hair that comes like down here. Very, manicured hands, manicured fingernails. She's like cute, but like, I don't know. She doesn't want to be too loud. She's like, is it my turn? Like, is it okay for me to step forward? She's very meek, but not super shy, but just meek. Okay, can you give me some information that might help someone here recognize me? Oh, okay. She says 58. She gave me the number 58. It could be a year, it could have been an age of someone she's connected with, but the number 58. And she says, I'm sorry. She says, I'm not great at this. And she's throwing words at me like blue, summer, and she says corn colored hair. I don't know. I feel like that means something to someone. And then she gave me the word Daisy. She said she wanted to come through. But this is difficult. I feel like she hasn't been past all that long because she's a little new at the communication piece here.
Is there a connection to music?
She says, yes, she's showing me the piano.
Okay.
Yeah, she's showing the piano. She says, I used to teach kids when they were young and I was younger, but she had to give it up because of her fingers.
Not who I was thinking.
Yeah, she had to give it up because of her fingers. She said they would get stiff. I'm asking her a question because I think she doesn't want to show me something. So I'm going to ask her a little something like, how old are you actually versus how old are you showing? Okay, so she's saying she passed at about 82 years old. So I was like, you're showing me a younger version of yourself. I don't mind when I cross, expect me to be at the prime, and not not my oldest. But she's showing me about it. She's saying she was 82. She says her favorite color was blue. She says she was born in the summer. Were you born in the summer or she? Okay. So either her favorite color is blue or the person who she has this message for, which is a female, favorite color was blue and was born in the summer. So this could be an older aunt. This could be a grandmother. It could be a teacher. It could be a teacher. So someone here took piano when they were a kid from someone who had blonde hair.
Does she have a sister named Mary?
She says yes. She says an older sister.
That's my Aunt Helen.
It's funny because I kept coming to you, but then there's a woman on my phone, on my screen, there's another woman with blonde hair on both sides of you.
That's my Aunt Helen.
Okay.
Oh my.
Okay.
I feel it's my
Okay.
Aunt
Let me
Helen.
ask her.
I loved her.
She says, okay. She says, ask her about, and I may be saying this wrong, the dingo or the dinga or ding. It looks like she's showing me some kind of dog, and I don't know dog types. Is there a dog that?
I have a German Shepherd right now.
What is? I'm sorry. This feels like is it a smaller dog? German Shepherd.
No, I have German Shepherd's big.
Yeah, you don't have a smaller dog or had a smaller dog?
No.
Did
She did. They had a poodle that lived till 17 years old.
Okay, this is because she's showing me a smaller
Years
dog.
ago, white poodle.
Okay, so you know that. Okay, What else? What else? Tell me something. And that, did the number 58 or 82 make sense to you?
I mean, 82, my sister was born.
1982.
58, I don't know.
Okay, I want you to hold 58 because that may make sense. Make sense later. I'm going to ask her, what does she want to share with you? And your German Shepherd is
Sharing.
okay. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. So she's saying she's been watching you, and she said there's something that you keep saying you're going to do, and you keep starting it. She said it's the beginning of every month. You start something. I think he feels her.
Yeah, she's she
I know.
mommy. Shush.
If you want to mute, I'll give you the message, and then you can come back.
Yeah, let me mute it. She's getting all crazy.
Dog going batshit. I love
Yeah,
this.
it's like, she's here. So she's saying to me that there is something that you start doing, like at the start of like every month, like this month I'm going to do it. This month I'm going to do it. This month I'm going to do it. And it's been going on for a while. And it's a creative project, but it's not like, writing a book. It's more like something that you want to create, like a business, or it's like a business idea that you want to create, but you keep pausing and stopping. It has to do with confidence and the ability to like share your belief and like why you really think this is important. Because every time you do, you have this thing that she has where she kind of gets meek, or she kind of pulls in, where she doesn't want to like make too much of a splash or be, too loud. And she's got that personality. And I see that you do that a little bit yourself when it's time to speak about this big vision that you have. Like you've got this really big, and it's a great idea, and it's going to help a lot of women and younger. I feel like it's going to help like women like 16 and up if you implement it. It has broader reach. It's not for women, but it's going to help women, if that makes sense. And this idea that you have. And she's saying, why? And this isn't why don't you, but why is it important to you, and understand that enough so that you will be able to then share what you're supposed to be sharing. She says she keeps watching you, and she keeps trying to urge you on. And there's a song she inspires to have played on the radio, like you think of her and then the song plays. Does that make sense? So I feel like it's not really making sense. And it's like, if it's, I'm asking her if she can, she's trying to do this, and I don't know what that song is on the piano. I'm just gonna ask her to dun 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 dun. Does that song? Is that the Nutcracker? Is that from the Nutcracker? There's some like I don't know that song. But did you dance?
What's that?
Did you dance?
Just as a child.
Did she? Okay, because it's the music I heard. She said it's not that. She says sing this song. I think that's the Nutcracker song from the Nutcracker. There's some connection with this Nutcracker. I want you to hold it. Did you see her?
Yeah. I blocked a lot out from childhood, so
Okay.
I have to recall it.
And I'm telling her it's okay. She's saying this is really hard for her because she's nervous.
Mm-hmm.
I told her she doesn't need to be nervous. She's, I'm the one who's in the middle here. I'm
nervous. She doesn't need to be nervous.
She's nervous. Like we're all.
Don't be nervous. No, don't be nervous.
I'm just telling you, it's okay. It's okay. I'm asking her if there's any other message. She says, no, she said, I see you, and I just want you to do the thing that you know you really want to do and not be afraid to speak about it.
Mm.
And not be afraid to share it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And the next time you start it, just keep going.
Just keep going.
Just keep going. Yeah. I'm going to leave that with you.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
that.
All right. I feel like there's one or two more. Who's here? Okay. One of them I feel is a mom, and there was someone who asked about a mom. I don't know if this is that mom. Oh, don't know if this is that mom, but I have a mom here, and she describing her. She's got like brunette hair, and in the way she's showing up, which may not be exactly what she looked like when you last saw her, is with brown hair that's coming like here. She says sometimes she wore bangs, sometimes she just parted it. She's coming in and she says, can you just, I got to make sure that they know who you are first. She says, can you just tell them the message? It's like, first we got to know who we're telling, who we're talking to, right? All right, what else can you give me to share with your loved one? Because otherwise everyone's going to be like, I don't know. Who is it? She's saying there's a connection with the name Esther. Or Easter, I'm sorry. It could be Esther or Easter, a connection with the name Esther, or the holiday Easter. And she's showing me, okay, she's showing me her having trouble breathing. So she may have, where there's some heaviness or something in the chest here. Yeah. So she may have passed from something going on in the chest area. Don't feel like it was a heart attack, but I feel like it was, I don't feel like it was a heart attack. I've never had one, but it feels like a lot of pressure. And she that sudden breath. She says it didn't last long. Okay. Sorry. I'm gonna ask you directly then. Yes, I'm very sorry. Okay. She just chastised me. She says, ask me directly. She says, okay. The chest pains, she said, she said when it happened, it didn't feel like a heart attack. If that makes sense. It didn't feel like a heart attack. It happened suddenly. It didn't last long. She was having trouble breathing. That's what she says, I was having trouble breathing. I couldn't catch my breath. My whole chest hurt whenever it expanded. And then I was here.
Dana Kahlo wants to know, what is her religion?
So I'm hearing Catholic.
Okay.
Do I have to push
Sorry,
that?
Anthony. I think that's me.
Is that
It's
iPhone
me.
too?
Kelly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
What of that can you take?
Should I say anything or?
I said, what part of that can you take?
So Easter,
not like,
she passed suddenly, out of nowhere. It was a total sudden death from like heart and chest pains.
okay.
Okay.
And was she a brunette?
Yes, she was.
Okay.
Can I interrupt 1 second? Kelly, I think you're right, because her face passed in front of me. I know Kelly for a very long time.
Yes.
Please continue, Burnett.
Okay.
Please continue.
Okay, so I know. People have to claim it. They have to come. She says, why did it take her so long? I said, they have to come to know and they want to. Is she impatient?
Just
That's
tell
her.
just tell her I knew it was her when you said Easter. I was
Okay.
just waiting.
Okay.
Mhm.
She says, thank you. She seems like she can be a little impatient at times. Like,
Yeah, a little bit.
okay.
I knew her too. Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. So what is the message that you have for Kelly, right?
Mhm.
What's the message that you have for Kelly? There's a male in your, she's saying it's about the, a man in your life. I'm asking her, is this something that should be in this group?
She's gonna just say it. She's gonna say it anyway. So
Okay.
it's all good.
All right. Okay. I'm just, this is being recorded. So I don't want to, mess with people's privacy.
It's all good.
What's the plan here? That's what she says. She leans forward and says, what's the plan here?
I got no plan. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's what she said. Yeah, what's the plan? And she says, and how long are we going to continue to do this? Does that make sense to you?
Not really. I don't know. I got no plan. Anthony,
you don't have that's the point. That's the point.
I'm not saying anything, Kelly, but you know. You know, and
Okay.
I know you know,
She says,
and you know
she
that
says,
I know
I'm going
that
to
you
leave
know.
that there. She says the other thing is, and she shows me, I don't know if you have like on your, feels like a dresser or a stand, like a little case that you keep like knickknacks in, but it's like a box or a little case that you keep knickknacks in. And she's pulling out what looks like either a chain bracelet or a necklace. And she's going like this. And she's saying, you need to wear it in honor of her. And not her, but in honor of someone else. So there's someone else that you that gave you this, or that this thing represents or is connected with. Does that make sense?
It's she's probably talking about my grandma's necklace that she gave me.
Okay. She says it's special, and
it is, but it broke, so that's why.
Oh, she is like she doesn't she says, well, why didn't you get it fixed? But that's
This is see,
I'll get it
I
fixed
know this woman.
week.
I know this woman, and that is her.
She says,
That is her.
all right. She says, I just wanted to come through so that you knew that I know what's going on.
Okay.
Are you satisfied? Oh, she says, hi, Anthony. That's what she's
Hey, Lisa.
Hey Lisa, just do me a favor. Just tell her I said, excuse me.
She said, I don't know, she's got some sass. She says, excuse who?
It's our song. It's our Pitbull song.
She says,
Yeah.
excuse who? And maybe that's why does she dance? And she's like,
She was fun. She was a fun woman.
okay. All right, you got that? Yes, you're welcome. All right, bring it in.
Okay.
Sending that with you.
Thank
All right,
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
All right.
Thanks, Lisa. Oh my God.
Okay, is there one more? Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Oh. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. You can come through. All right. I've got a child here. Very, very young. And this is going to narrow it down. This is a Black child. So maybe someone knows of a young Black child in spirit. Female, little girl. And her hair is in little twister braids. She didn't want to come forward immediately. She says she was scared. So I'm holding her hand here. telling her it's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna ask her. She says, I was sick. And I'm gonna ask her, what did you experience when you were sick? She said, it hurt in my stomach. So something with a stomach issue. She says she doesn't remember. Okay, she doesn't remember not being sick, if that makes sense. We've got one hand raised. I don't see your face, but if you're able to take
It might be myself.
let me
It might be
ask.
my mom.
That's Mary, right?
Okay.
Okay.
You said it might. I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
It sounds like it could be my mom.
Oh, who was sick as a young girl?
She wasn't a young lady, but the child and her
Oh,
ovaries.
oh, okay. Let me ask her. I'm gonna just ask her if she ever remembers being alive in this world. She says, I saw, oh, okay, come here. You mind? I'm just gonna hold her because she just needs to be held. So she says, I didn't ever live on the outside, but I saw things through her eyes, if that makes sense. She says she missed it, but she's going to come back around and somebody else, if that makes sense. And she's planning to come back within the next 5 years. She says she doesn't know if she's going to be a girl or a boy this time.
I don't know, but my mom had a miscarriage before me, a couple of miscarriages before me.
Before you, are you trying to conceive?
Husband here. Would you like to join?
Right now?
This is
within the next couple years.
You would, yes. Within the next
yes.
couple years.
So
Not right now.
Not at the moment. No.
I was like, do it on Zoom.
She's planning on coming in the next 5 years.
YouTube would ban us.
That's
in the next
okay.
5 years, she plans on coming back. So I feel like this, because someone else was able to resonate with this message as well. And I don't want to release that yet because the soul did not come through all the way. And so it did not have a distinct individual person identity, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
She says, I want to come back. I need to come back into the right body, into the right family. This message is for someone who is going to be trying to have a baby in the next 5 years. Okay. If you are not trying to have a baby in the next 5 years, this message is probably not for you. And it can be, and she says she may not be Black when she comes back. She doesn't know what she's going to be, but it's going to be the right family. But when she was in the body of her mother that she did not come through, she would have been Black, and she would have been. She's so sweet. She would have been a young Black girl. Is there anything else that you want? She says it's her. Okay, she's pointing at you, Keisha. She's pointing at you. She says it's her. Is there anything else that you want her to know? She says yes. She says when it's time, summer is important. The season of summer, she wants to tell you the season of summer. And I'm getting 2023. So and she says it's after I don't know if you guys are considering moving to someplace else. She says, if you're not, you will be. So it will be after the move.
Oh, well,
just did move.
we moved, but we're still moving in.
Okay, okay.
Uh-huh. Okay, she's smart. I like
So,
it.
all right, is that what you? She said get closer. Okay. She wants to see you. Can you? Oh my God. And she's like putting out her little hand and like touching the picture on the screen. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm gonna let you go back to. Okay, I'm gonna let you go. And when you come in a couple of years, they're gonna be ready because they know. They know. Okay.
That was Uncle Trouble. Uncle Trouble is going to be ready for her too.
Anthony, you're gonna be an uncle.
Hell yeah. Yeah. And her middle name better be Anthony.
Okay.
We've got an Italian names to choose from. So.
Okay. All right. She has. All right.
What a beautiful visit.
That was nice.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye. Okay. I'm gonna leave that one with you. Okay. That was the last one from spirits. I'm
Okay,
just going
so-
to let them all go. My helper and all right. Now there were a couple questions.
Just so everybody might want to check chat, I just put all of Burnett's reach info in chat. If you're on YouTube and you can't see it, I would go to BurnettSherman.com, BurnettSherman.com, and I bet you she has YouTube links and Facebook links.
You can get everything from BurnettSherman.com.
Okay, because you're
Yes.
going to be doing some work after tonight, I can tell. I don't even need to be psychic to know that you're amazing.
Okay, there was a question. I don't know if he's still here. Someone had about work, but did
Right.
you have a question?
That was Justin, was it not?
I think it
Okay,
said
we're asking him
Sam
to-
or Justin or I don't remember.
No, that was Justin had his hand up, and I just asked him to unmute, but I don't know if he's near his device or not. We'll see.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. He had
Oh.
a,
I was just so I've been looking to change my career, and
Mhm.
it's been a pretty struggle. And I'm wondering if this year is the season for me, or if I should kind of just take root where I'm at for the year.
it's not that simple of a question or an answer. So I'm saying stay where you are. And I kept seeing, I saw IT programming, and they said there's a new programming language he needs to learn. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. They said take this rest of the year to learn that so that you can be ready for next year. There's some credentials that you need to get in place so that you can take advantage of opportunities.
Okay, so I have some interviews coming up. Will those not pan out for me then?
There's one, I don't know if there's a company that starts with A or has A prominently in the sound of the name. That one may, but I feel like the salary is not where the salary that they offer will not be exactly what you might want. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I could. Yeah.
But don't be afraid to negotiate. And I hate to say this, go ahead and research the classes now so that you can say that you are working towards or about to study, or you're on this process of continuing education, because they're going to be the kind of company that wants to see that you have that kind of drive and desire to learn more and grow.
I work in education, so it's more towards teaching.
Yeah, they're going to want to see that you have that skill. Do you do technology teaching or something?
I run a school program.
Okay. You still, okay, let me break this down for you real quick. That's where you are right now. That's not where you're going to be. You understand me? So that's where you are right now. It's a stepping stone. You're not supposed to be doing teaching long term. You're supposed to be doing leading and helping others and helping. I don't know if there's I don't know the trajectory, but I see like in the school system or school district, they have people who coordinate others. Does that make sense? And
Yes.
to qualify for that, you have to have certain credentials.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a process to work up to that.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope that helps. But go for the interviews. Also go for the education.
Is this like another 4-year? Is this like an associate thing that I would do?
It's not. It's like a credential.
Okay.
Yes, it might be a certification or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Some kind of elevation. Well, thank you, Justin and Burnett. I'm like blown away. One quick story. When Burnett and I first met in the Lisa Williams School program, she got a hold of my partner, but I was interested watching people waiting for more and more evidence, which really kind of encourages me that people are understanding what we do, that we all might find something. And then it's like, no, let's wait for more evidence before we decide if it's us or not. But girlfriend busted a dance move. Okay. That was, there was like, it was almost like he knew that I was holding back. And then all of a sudden she does this signature dance move that he used to do at the Roxy, because he would go roller skating every Tuesday night. And he was like a big star. So I was blown away by you that moment and have been your fan since, because how could you not love her? But I want to thank you for coming on because we do have to wrap. But I would like to ask you to return. Would you do that? Would you come back sometime?
I would come back.
See, she's doing it again.
Come back.
I would love for you to come back. But in the meantime, everybody, please, please, please follow her everywhere. Go to her website, follow her on Facebook, follow her on Instagram.
And pick up the
Arrange to
books.
have a reading with her. Her books. We didn't even talk
Yeah.
about your books. My God, now you have to come back because we have to do a whole thing like that.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
thank you all for coming. If you want to know anything more about my show schedule, go to esoteric.nyc. I'm on every Monday night at 7 p.m. The show is the Zodiac Lounge, and maybe someday I'll tell you what the Zodiac Lounge really is all about, because that's a pretty shady story all in itself. But thank you all. Thank you again, Burnett, and thank
you
every
for
one of
having
you.
me, Anthony.
Oh,
Thank you
I
so much.
loved it. I loved it.
This was so much fun.
And you do have to come back, and we have to go. I adore you all. Burnett, thanks again. You have healed so many people. I was in tears, and that's how you know that you did it. So thank you for doing such a beautiful job. Love you all.